Hello everyone, back tuning into today's first video. We're going to have a look at when next week's 10 days for today's first video. This will take us to around the 17th of December, so going into the second half of the month. All eyes at the moment are on the chance of snow starting tonight, really. So we've got Storm Caroline at the moment that's bringing a lot of very stormy weather to the northern part of the country and lowering the temperature quite dramatically. That will lead to snow showers tonight, and then we go through into tomorrow, and there will be a risk of snow showers coming through again tomorrow, and then it's really Sunday but we're focusing on for a real dumping of snow, possibly across some parts of the country. And exactly where that dumping of snow is going to be is proving a little bit headache inducing at the moment. Suffice to say, we will be looking at Snow Watch tonight, so this video won't particularly be focusing on the snow risk, but don't worry, because we're going to cover that around 7 o'clock this evening on Snow Watch. It will be one of the most interesting snow watches we've done for a very long time, I would assume, as we try and pin down exactly where this dumping of snow could occur on Sunday. And just saying, myself and Quantum are trying to get together for a live chat sometime on Saturday. It'll probably be quite early in the evening on Saturday if we can pull it together. So I'll have more about that later on. Short notice, I know, but we may well be able to bring you a live chat probably around 5 o'clock, something like that on Saturday, but we've got to sort of confirm that. So I'll have more about that probably with Snow Watch, or if not in tomorrow's videos. So we'll go on with the first video today. So this is mainly covering the 7 to 10 day time frame, so there won't be much about the snow in this one. We will have more about it with Snow Watch this evening. I'll do a full rundown of the snow risks with Snow Watch this evening. Going to start off with website xcweather.co.uk. These are our latest observations, so it is getting colder. Let's deal with winds though, first of all. So these are our latest wind speeds. You can see that the biggest arrows are up in the far north of the country, where a real battering is going on at the moment. Our highest gust that we had today is 82 miles an hour. I assume that's going to be somewhere right in the very far north of the country. You see, although the strongest of winds are in the very far north, all places are having a very windy day through the course of today. The temperature is lowering as well, so it's still pretty mild down in the very far southeast. Some of these locations in the far southeast are still just about managing kind of around 12 or 30 degrees. Shoreham Airport, for example, is at 13 degrees. Thorney Island is at 13 degrees as well. St Catherine Port at 12 degrees. So the very far south is still just about holding on to mild temperatures that we had this morning. But it's rapidly turning colder now. So Luton Airport, for example, is down to 8 degrees. Birmingham down to 9 degrees. Nottingham down to 8 degrees. We go further north to Leeds and Bradford Airport, and it's 6 degrees there. Let's carry on northwards to Spadadam, and there the temperature is just 2 degrees. That's at a bit of an elevation, I think. But going further northwards, it's cold at Glasgow, 5 degrees. There, Strathallan 6 degrees. We carry on north. Let's go to Altnahara, just 3 degrees there. The dew point is still generally a little bit above freezing. Belfast Airport is at 4 degrees. Most places the dew points are still holding up above freezing, so most of the showers at the moment will still be rain away from high ground, but the dew point will be going below freezing later on today as the cold air digs in from the Arctic, and that cold weather will then be with us pretty much for certainly the next 4, 5, 6 days, though it might turn a little bit milder down in the south on Sunday. Probably get rain in the far south, but further north, significant snow on Sunday. And I'll have all of the information, all of the latest on that. Tonight's snow showers, tomorrow's snow showers, and then Sunday's proper dumping of snow. Have all the information about that on Snow Watch, or in Snow Watch, which will be with you 7 o'clock this evening. It's going to be a really interesting Snow Watch, I think, tonight. Right, just have a look at the Arctic Oscillation Observed and Forecast chart. The black line here tells us where we've been with the Arctic Oscillation. The red line's at the end, where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the Arctic Oscillation to go. Remember, this is just an index that's reflecting the state of the atmosphere. It's not driving anything, just tells us what the atmosphere is doing over the Arctic, over the North Pole. So you can see that at the moment, the black line is negative. So that's where we are right now. We're in negative territory with the Arctic oscillation. And the GFS ensembles very, very much forecasting the Arctic oscillation to stay negative right way through into the second half of December. That's 16th of December there. Beyond that, the forecast of the Arctic oscillation from the GFS ensembles is to stay negative. It does look as though we've probably entered into a long-term negative period. From around the middle of November, looks like we've been solidly negative with the Arctic oscillation and set to stay that way into the middle of December. So that's probably a month's worth of pretty much negative condition in terms of the Arctic oscillation. These indexes, the AO and the NAO, they typically move in blocks of around 2 to 3 months. So we may well have another month of this to go, taking us into the middle of January before possibly we start going positive. So when the Arctic oscillation is negative, it tells you that you've got high pressure, you've got blocking up over the pole. Blocking is the route to getting cold air out of the pole and pushing it down into the mid-latitudes. That's exactly what's been going on over the past few days and will continue over the next few days as well. North Atlantic oscillation, very similar. We're not negative with the North Atlantic oscillation, though. So the black line again tells us where we've been with the NAO. Red line's at the end where GFS ensembles are forecasting the NAO to go. We're just there. We're more or less neutral, I would say, just on the positive side of neutral. GFS ensembles, though, are interestingly forecasting the NAO to go more negative through the middle part of December, the second half of December. So it may well be, actually, that as we go into the middle and second half of the month, we might find ourselves going into an even more sort of extreme blocking type pattern. If we get both of the indexes, the AO and the NAO, going negative, it may well be we're going to lock in to quite a significant blocking pattern in the second half of December. And of course that gets interesting because it's starting to run up towards Christmas, but we haven't better say any more about that. The PSU website is gone a little bit wrong. So these are 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts for the next 7 to 10 days from the PSU website. Normally I would tell you that the ECWF is on the top and the GFS is on the bottom. But I can't tell you that because there's no ECM. We've just got a blank chart there where the 500 millibar height anomaly for the ECWF would be with these charts from Penn State University. So we better just scroll down, have a look at the GFS. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly for the GFS. Remember, blue is extrapolating to low pressure, and orange, red, those the bright colours, extrapolating to high pressure. These are for 7 to 10 days time, or this chart is for 7 to 10 days time, taking us to around the 17th of December. And look at this, a deep area of below average heights is over and to the east of the UK. And then let's change the colour. We've got above average heights extending through the Atlantic. And we're going up to Greenland as well. And it's pushing back into all of this blocking up here over top of the pole, which has been there for a very long time. Now, even though we have quite a cold stratosphere over the Arctic, it hasn't stopped us getting blocking in the troposphere, which just goes to show that the stratosphere, stratospheric temperatures, what's happening in the stratosphere, is not the be-all and end-all, and you can get high-pressure blocking over the Arctic even with quite a cold stratosphere. By the way, notice very deep trough also, let's change the colour again, over into the central and eastern part of America. Winter really going to be biting there, and actually with the flow and with the jet stream we are doing a real trough ridge type pattern at the moment, so it's going something a little bit like that, very much a trough ridge type situation. And luckily for us, or unluckily, it depends what you want, but we are finding ourselves on the cold side of the trough and the ridge, as is East America. So we've got both sides of the Atlantic on the cold side of the troughs and the ridges for once. There is an idea that when the east part of America is on the cold side of a trough, we will always be mild. But that is not the case this time. Both sides of the Atlantic are going to be turning cold with those troughs in the 7 to 10 day time frame. These are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles of the next couple of weeks. We're looking at London today. So, quite interesting. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average. We're starting off quite significantly mild on average just today, but you see pretty much from now on the temperature is downhill all the way. Going to go really cold tomorrow and into the weekend. Then the temperature tries to warm up on Sunday, and that's associated with the rain/snow event that we've got to deal with on Sunday as these milder Atlantic winds trying to push in. They hit the cold air, and that's it just there, and there's a precipitation spike that's associated with that. The mild Atlantic air is going to fail in that attempt, I can tell you that. So by Monday, we're going colder again, and then essentially we're staying quite cold, really, throughout the ensemble. We go to the very far reaches of the ensemble, which today is taking us to the 23rd of December, almost to Christmas. And we can see that still the ensemble mean is staying below average. The white line here is the ensemble means. That takes all of these individual coloured lines of spaghetti, as I call them, it takes them and just creates one mean line of the ensemble. And you can see even to the end of the ensemble chart or graph, which is just there, we're still below average, albeit by then there is a lot of scatter, as you would expect. So we have got some members of the ensembles that are going mild for Christmas, but several that are keeping things really quite cold. So Christmas, I can tell you this, is still on a bit of a knife edge. We'll have the next Christmas update for you tomorrow. But certainly for the next 10 days, let's say, it is looking really quite cold. Temperature anomalies are looking like this. Colder than average from the 7th to the 15th of December for the UK and Ireland, also for Norway as well, and down into France, some parts of Belgium and Holland. But warmer than average temperature anomalies, as has been the case throughout December so far, over in the east and the southeast of Europe. Complete flip around, as I said yesterday's video, on what happened this time last year. Precipitation anomalies from the 7th to 15th of December, they are coming out around average to a little bit above average. So we've got it cold, and it is unsettled as well. It looks like there's going to be wintry potential still in with that from the 7th to the 15th of December. This is how the GFS is looking for sunny. This is the very latest, the 6 o'clock run. When we do snow watch, we'll have the 12 o'clock run, by the way. But this is the 6 o'clock run of the GFS. Low pressure on Sunday is moving in from off the Atlantic Ocean. It's heading in that direction. We've got this cold blocker there sitting over the country. So how this low pressure moves in, where the dividing line between the milder air from the Atlantic and that cold blocker there is, where that dividing line is, that will depend where the snow is going to be. There'll be a weather front somewhere in that area at 6 o'clock in the morning. Anywhere to the north of that weather front is likely to get snow. Anywhere to the south and west of that weather front is likely to get rain. We go through to 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and we find that low pressure is slipping away to our south. So the cold air wins the battle, essentially, although I think southern counties will have a wet day on Sunday with just outbreaks of rain. There's likely to be snow further north. And I can tell you now, before we get started, I can tell you now, we're focusing sort of on Wales, the Midlands, parts of northern England, possibly Northern Ireland, to get a snow event. To the north of that, probably just cold with some snow showers for parts of northern England, if you see what I mean, and also for Scotland. I mean, down in the south, probably to the south of the M4, we're looking at outbreaks of rain. But by 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday, the cold air is winning the battle. So it's low pressure, instead of normally the low pressure would want to do that and head off in that direction and bring the winds up from the Atlantic. Instead of doing that, the low pressure is actually going down here into France, and that's allowing the cold air to push back from the north. So even if southern counties get outbreaks of rain through Sunday, it's not totally out of the question. That rain might turn to snow, actually, on Sunday night and into Monday, even in the south, as the cold air wins the battle. It will depend how active the weather front of the area of low pressure is. But by Monday, the cold air is winning the battle, so the winds are swinging back into the north. The early part of next week looks very cold, but winds will remain from the north. Temperatures for some places will probably be struggling to get much above freezing through the early part of next week, both by day and by night. Wednesday, we bring another area of low pressure in off the Atlantic, and obviously this one is much, much further north. This one is centering to the north of Scotland. So that's going to have a big warm sector with it. So if you don't like snow, and of course it is it's a busy time of year. People are out and about, want to do Christmas shopping and all of that kind of thing. They don't really want disruptive snow this time of year, most people. So if you don't like it, if you get fed up with it, then by Wednesday, I suspect most of it will go, actually, as we probably do bring some more snow in from the Atlantic initially, but I think that rapidly on Wednesday turns back to rain. And then we bring in modified Atlantic air. It will still be quite cold, however. Through the course of Thursday, so look what's happening here. The winds are going back into the north again. So after that slightly less cold period midweek next week, it looks as though winds are going to be swinging back into the north. By Friday next week, we're back to square one. The winds are back into the north. Again, we've got more ridging going on here through the Atlantic and going up to the north as well. The trough of low pressure to our east, and there's the northerly wind coming down across the country yet again. That probably brings a renewed threat of snow towards the end of next week, and then we go into the weekend of 16th, 17th of December. It stays cold. This takes us to day 10, which is Sunday, 17th of December. And we're just cold and wintry, really. The winds are still coming in from the north. We still have this high pressure out to the northwest. So certainly up to 10 days away, which is a long way out in this kind of pattern. It looks like the weather stays generally quite cold, with further threats of snow coming through. And even if we extend out a little bit beyond that, let's go up to the 19th of December. Still cold. Look, the high pressure is still there out to the northwest of Scotland. Low pressure across Central Europe, and the winds now are beginning to swing more easterly, so that would change the distribution of the snow showers, perhaps more to the eastern side of the country. Essentially, this latest run of the GFS is a cold and wintry outlook. What's happening with the ECMWF? Well, this is Sunday, midnight Sunday. There's the low pressure that's going to be bringing a rain or snow event across many parts of the country on Sunday. More on that on Snow Watch. Very similar to what the GFS is doing. By midnight on Monday, that low pressure is heading down towards northern parts of France. So the cold air wins the battle and pushes the low pressure and its milder air away. By Tuesday, we're firmly back into that northerly winds. It could be a really cold start to next week. Then we get a little bit less cold on Wednesday. This hopefully, if you don't like snow, this will get rid of any lying snow. On Wednesday you'll have a thaw and you'll be able to get out and about through the middle of next week, but still cold. I mean, we're only talking about less cold, if you like, but still generally, even on Wednesday, with this slightly milder air coming in off the Atlantic, overall, it's still quite cold. And then the second half of next week, same as with the GFS, we're going back into those northerly winds again. So this is Friday, 15th of December. The winds are back into the north once again. And if you go far enough north with the isobars, you'll see that the wind does go back a long way north. It's going up to the North Pole, down across the country. So after a slightly less cold day or so around the middle of next week, we're back to those cold northerly winds again in the second half of next week. This takes us up to day 10. This is Saturday 16th. Really cold northerly winds. Could be snow coming in with them. And then the chart for day 10 looks like it's just hinting at maybe trying to re-establish an Atlantic flow. That's a really, really long way off. And obviously we would have to see exactly how successful these areas of low pressure are in re-establishing the Atlantic flow. So we haven't better say any more about that. But certainly that day 10 chart implies the Atlantic may have a go. Not saying it'll be successful, but have a go at re-establishing on day 10 or just beyond day 10. Finally, I'm full of frame the GEM today. So again, this is the Canadian model. We've got the low pressure slinking down into northern France over the weekend. Actually, this is quite interesting. This is midnight on Monday. And I'm not sure whether many parts of the country would have much of a snow event with that, actually, because that low pressure not really making any inroads at all into the country. That's quite an odd one. But I did say in yesterday's video, don't rule out the chance, but in the end, this low pressure may do something like that and miss us and just graze the far south and southwest of the country. That does tend to happen quite a bit with these slider lows, as we call them. In any case, by the time you go through to Tuesday, we're back into those northerly winds, so it stays cold through the first half of next week. And then, just as that first area of low pressure, Sunday to Monday, was on a more southerly track, so too is this one coming in on Wednesday, one that's going to bring us a less cold day, supposedly. The GM, very different with these position of these areas of low pressure, but this one will be threatening snow into many parts of England and Wales on Wednesday. And then back to those northerly winds through the second half of next week. We go up to day 10 and it stays cold. Now you'll notice what happens here is that it looks like the Atlantic is going to try and re-establish on day 9, which is Saturday 16th of December. It looks like the Atlantic is going to try and re-establish, very similar how the ECMWF looked at day 10. But look what actually happens by day 10. No, the Atlantic is not re-establishing. This low pressure is actually going in that direction, and the winds are turning back into the north again. So that is possibly what would happen if we went on another 24 hours from there, the ECMWF day 10 chart. In any case, we can say it's going to be staying cold and wintry for the foreseeable future. We may well get a big snow event across the country on Sunday, and then it turns a little bit less cold, perhaps middle of next week, before we return to those northerly winds in the second half of next week. It's all looking very, very different this year compared to the last few years. Right, so this evening we've got snow watch. That's going to be a very, very important snow watch indeed. That'll be around 7 o'clock this evening. We'll talk about the snow showers that we're going to have tonight and tomorrow in the northwest of the country. And then, of course, we'll also talk about the dumping of snow that may well occur on Sunday. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.